love in the relationship, I think it constitutes about 20% of the ingredient that sustain what relationship is. But to talk further on the idea of what drives relationship, I think we have to introduce what understanding is. Because even love itself, what sustains it, I think, is the word understanding. Well, I think understanding the havoc genotype have done to a society like mine, I think it's advisable that one should ask the question first and deal with the issues when your relationship is in an early stage than waiting until you are ready to get married, because the resultant effect at that stage is massive. So my advice to anybody that is going to into any relationship, I think the first question should be, after you guys have agreed to stay together, I think the next stage is to ask question. And I think the question of genotype should lead. Well, to an extent, I think the first stage, what drives two people to come together is passion. Now, when they have an understanding over time, loves come in, coupled with understanding. Now, when you talk about issues in relationship, we have issues of trust, we have issues of cheating and what have you. But I think love play a great deal, but it doesn't sustain it, just like the way I've established in the early stage of this interview, that love without understanding, sometimes you guys can love each other, but love cannot keep you together. Love cannot keep you together because no home is built by love, but home is brought together by love. But love, I think in one of the books I've written, in part of the survey we've conducted in the course of writing the book, now we discover the lifespan of love in most of marriages today is from 3 months after marriage to 2 years. Now the real characters of the couples will manifest. The things you used to hide, you reveal it, and that is when understanding, trust, and other things will begin to play. So love play a great role in bringing you together, but I think understanding, trust, and other ingredients in the marriage will help sustain the marriage. Well, I think when I was coming up, I attended a class, and somebody said, when it comes to human beings, you cannot talk about compatibility, because the only time you talk about compatibility is when you talk about machines, equipments, and what have you. But over time that I have sat and ponder upon things, I come to discover that no, truly, compatibility play a great role when it comes to human beings. Now, compatibility, sometimes you may not agree in idea, but when it comes to the case of sickle cell, I think compatibility play a great role. If not the resultant effect of not looking for a compatible person to get married to, I think it has a way of even killing the marriage before the due time. So compatibility, I think it plays a great role. Now there are cases, because you cannot tell an SS not to get married simply because the person is an SS. Now there are situations that warrant an SS person to get married, and there are situations that discourage an AS to get married. Now let me give an instance. Now if an AA is meeting an AA, I think that is acceptable. If an AA is meeting an SS, I think it's also acceptable. I think it gives them the best survival chance. That is the children in question, the seat of the union. It gives them the best chances of meeting. But when you are talking about AS and AS, it's the same thing. It's almost as good as saying SSSS. So sometimes I think the people that are into sickle cell awareness, they discourage the concept of AS and AS getting married, because I think in every 4, 1 is presumed to manifest the symptoms of sickle cell anemia. So when you talk about the union, now compatibility play a great role. It plays a great role. It was at the point of marriage that we went and did the test and we knew our genotype. It wasn't at the point of birth, because I was brought up in a society where the advocacy is very, very low. Well, at that point, I think I have attended some counseling, some relationship classes, and some books. I've read some books, watched some documentary on genotype, sickle cell, and many other health-related topics. Now, when we were about to get married, now the fear of not making the mistake that others that came before us did push us into checking. And at the end of the day, I discover I am AA, and my wife is also AA. And I have 3 kids, which all of them are AA. Before understanding what they face, and before I began to converse with the coordinator of Warrior as an NGO helping sickle cell people, I had a different notion about their pains, about their fights, about their feelings. At that point, if you ask me that question, I will say one shouldn't get married at all to one of them. At that point, I will tell you that their employability percentage is 0. But today, I think the reason why their struggle become higher is because of people that think the way I used to think. The reason why they suffer more and more and they become like beggars today is because of the way I think. Now, I want to tell you that calling them sicklers is one of the ways that have further buried them. It's one of the ways that have killed their hopes and aspirations. In fact, some of them, by that level of stigmatization, they have refused to go to school. Some of them that have managed to go to school, they have refused to go to work because of the level of stigmatization they receive at work. Now, I will advise those people giving them an impression that they are sicklers. I think they should find a way to encourage them. They should find a name, maybe peculiar to them, to be calling them. I think that will go a long way to reduce their pain, to reduce or to increase their level of acceptability in the society we live today. Thank you.